nice. Those are some big old eggs.
Jurassic Park vibes.
If I was hungry and I found those out in the woods, I would definitely eat those.
That's weird. I'm just in so close, and it's just a lot of fluids.
That's all right. The people that want to see it, that know what they're looking at, they'll be appreciative of it.
I need an ounce of the dreamsicle. I always feel like I'm at like a marijuana shop or something.
Because they have all those crazy names.
Yeah.
One nice little tool is to have a pair of small leather gloves or something.
What are gloves?
Gloves are like material that protects your hands so that you don't bleed a lot.
I can't believe you know what that is.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never heard of it. Yo, we're back with Genetic Genesis.
Genetic
we got the whole
Genesis.
crew here.
Yay!
A live studio audience. Aren't you guys so excited to have so many people here? It's fantastic.
Hey, it's going to be a great night, and we are going to see some genetics, some incredible genetics, but we're also going to have our whole animal care team see how it is that these two guys, or actually just Scott, can keep and clean 300 snakes. I'm super excited about these genetics that are coming out. So Jordan, why don't you tell us about what we're going to be looking at? What clutch was laid and what were the parents like?
So last time we focused a little bit, we did with our TSK Xanthics and then our clowns. We've got a double het pairing to double het pairing, so should be interesting. Those are those 1 in 16 odds that we're looking at, so about to cut them out and see what we find.
If you missed our first video with Genetic Genesis, you can go back and check it out, but we went through a lot of her pairings.
Yes, we did. We went through a whole lot of pairings, but these guys really know what they're doing when it comes to genetics. And you know, the phenotype, the genotype, we're fixing to really jump into that. We got two snakes right here, and they look like regular old ball pythons to me.
Yep, that's a ball python.
Look at this one, another ball python.
These weren't the offspring of this, but this is what TSK looks like. So it's an axanthic, takes all the yellow out. And so it's a recessive gene. So again, what heterozygote means is that you have to have two copies. And so heterozygote's one copy, which is what the parents are. And this one has two copies of the same gene, so that axanthic gene. And then this one's clown. And so both parents also contain the clown gene. They're heterozygote. It's another recessive gene.
Oh, it's adorable. Look at it. It's poking its head out.
I like this one the best.
So what we're kind of shooting for with this pair is to get a combination of both these little ones. So you get some clowns that are black and white.
Nice. And if anybody wants to know why they're called ball pythons,
That's why.
because when they get in a defensive mode, they just ball up and they protect their head. That way the enemy can't get them. And if you can't see me, if I can't see you, then you can't see me. I'm protected, right?
How's our studio audience doing so far?
Doing great. I love the way
Great.
ball
Any
python-
questions, Anthony?
Yeah.
Let Anthony ask a question.
At the end, we'll have questions at the end.
Please hold your questions till the end. Thank you.
Okay, so the snakes that were just on the table here, they laid these eggs. They laid how many? 8 eggs? Oh, nice. Those are some big old eggs.
Jurassic Park vibes.
If I was hungry and I found those out in the woods, I would definitely eat those.
That's weird.
So if you notice when they start dimpling like that, that's when they're about to what we call pip. And so naturally in the environment, they pip with a tooth egg basically, and then their heads would be sticking out.
What is the most sought after phenotype when we cut these eggs from this clutch?
So we're aiming for that double recessive, so that 1 in 16 odd that we're gonna have clown and axanthic, so a black and white clown essentially.
Awesome.
And so we're gonna see if we get them.
And if we get really lucky, the male also has a codon gene called fire, which is just a brightening gene.
Nice.
We hit
To hit
that
all
would be
three.
great.
Yep, hitting all three takes 1 in 32. I think we kind of misquoted a little bit on the last video, but 1 in 32 was for all three genes, not just the double recessive.
Well,
That's
luckily
1 in
we have a
16.
really good subscriber base that's very gentle and forgiving. And you know, everybody was really excited about you guys explaining the phenotypes and the recessive genes. Like, we got a lot of good comments on that.
I feel like I'm at the casino right now. Like, let's hit.
Where's
Give me
the roulette
21.
wheel?
Let's see 21. All right, big bucks, no whammies, no whammies.
Great. All right. Fluid looks good.
Yeah.
What's that fluid actually called? Is it embryonic fluid?
Amniotic fluid.
Oh.
So that's just
So we got an
TSK.
axanthic. It looks like maybe fire in there. It's pretty bright.
Exactly. That's a good looking snake.
So we got
But
one
I
of the
don't see a
visuals.
clown pattern.
No clown pattern to it.
It's a little,
What pattern would you say that is? Just an aberrant pattern?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a wild type normal.
extra gooey.
Yeah.
So the one thing that, like we were saying, this is a couple of days early,
Mm-hmm.
but when you cut them early like this, if for some reason they have an umbilical cord or something that's wrapped, we can get in there and undo it. So
Okay.
there are a few
I always
benefits by
say a
doing
chance to cut is a chance to cure.
Is
Plus, you guys keep it in a sterile environment, and you know what you're doing, so there's that.
We got another
Ooh.
it.
axanthic.
Xanthic.
That one might just be
I s-
plain.
Yeah.
It's a little less.
So see how it's a little, yeah, it's not as bright as that one.
Yeah, that one, the first one is brighter.
Yeah, so that's probably got the fire.
Yeah.
That one's just going to be axanthic.
Again, another just aberrant
a lot of cool
pattern,
little circles,
wild
yeah.
pattern.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with the more the normal pattern is it can actually vary
Right.
quite a bit.
Pretty
Yeah.
wide.
So how does the pipping happen in the wild?
They have an egg tooth and they'll actually come up with their mouth and make a little slit in the top and poke their head out.
Yeah, they'll make several slits right next to each other. It'll look like somebody took a fingernail and just went across it.
Chickens actually do the same thing. So have you ever heard of it? But reptiles and chickens are real closely related. So
Ooh, what's this? It's different.
Normal.
it's the normal. So it's not it doesn't have the clown or the axanthic. It's just kind of like their parents. It could be het though.
Well, it would be hit for something, right?
66.
66% chance.
Oh, really? Just
Yeah.
66?
Since both parents are non-visual,
Gotcha.
you'd be 66.
So how long are they going to stay in these eggs until they come out?
Probably another week.
Yeah.
Usually 5 to 7 days. Once they completely absorb their yolk.
So they're gonna the amniotic fluid. They're still gonna.
So if I tried lifting one of these out, you'd see that there's still a pretty good size, probably quarter size ball of yolk underneath them still that they'll have to
Absorb that.
absorb.
That one
There's
might
your-
be a clown.
There's
Oh,
your
yeah.
axanthic clown.
Axanthic
I see
clown.
some little alien heads.
Yep, there's your axanthic clown.
It's
So,
looking really light.
That's
too.
really
Yeah,
nice, though.
It's pretty bright.
I like that
so
clown
there's the
pattern
1
on
in
him.
16.
That's so 1 in 16% of getting that
All
those to
right,
match
baby!
up. We got it!
Woo!
Yay! Hey, let's get a
Get
little.
about 3 more of those.
Yeah.
Server 2 in 1 egg.
Yep.
Yeah, they have twins.
That's just a normal.
So that's very normal looking.
Yep.
You can see the browns coming out in that one already.
Well, and that's what I didn't say anything, but that one actually might be fire as light as it is. We'll just
Yeah,
have
it
to
does
see.
look a little bright.
Yeah, there's actually, we were talking, we've never done it, but there's several people that post pictures of once they cut them or they'll pip on their own, 2 heads coming out. So
Oh, yeah.
It does. In fact, somebody posted something with
triplets.
triplets here a
Yeah,
while
somebody had
back.
Triplets.
Really?
Yeah.
Problem with that's the babies are really tiny usually.
Yeah.
So you have to really work at feeding them. Clowns are not hitting
Normal
as
clown?
strong.
Yeah. Probably a fire. That's another real bright yellow.
I got a good feeling about this one.
It's going to be another clown Anzathric. Anzathric?
There's a thick
Xanthic?
egg. Can you like eat these like regular eggs?
Sure, when they're first laid, they're just like a chicken egg. I mean, people eat turtle eggs all the time.
Do they?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Fire.
Before they were so protected and people were messing the turtles up so bad. That's kind of light color,
That's
but
what, yeah.
got a little fire in it maybe?
Yeah.
A little fire.
You think it's going to have a clown pattern?
I don't think so.
No?
Another axanthic.
Definitely Anzanthic. Ooh, that's an alien head right there.
Well, the way that the stripes going down the back.
Oh, this is so weird. I'm like,
That's probably the prettiest pattern
Yeah,
I've
that
seen.
that might be a clown. I don't know.
I think it is clown.
I have to see.
I'd have to wait and see.
I say we
once they
got
grow
2.
up.
I'm just in so close, and it's just a lot of fluids.
That's all right. The people that want to see it, that know what they're looking at, they'll be appreciative of it. These guys were pipped or cut the other day.
So these though,
How long ago?
2 days ago,
2 days ago?
the parents were not like the parents were like 5% chance. I mean,
Yeah.
So we bought them as a possible het. So,
So
very
you've
slim
proved
chance.
what they
Pos het
have.
and pos het. So both parents had slim chances of carrying a recessive gene. So
the parents of these parents were possets. So I mean, that makes these.
both
Virtually
parents.
none.
Hey, but they're cheaper to buy that way.
So both parents had to prove out. And we got 2 visuals. So the sunset gene, it's a very new up and coming gene. We got 2 of them out
We
of
ended up with.
Wow.
And it's a recessive. So I mean, it's like I said, it took.
And that's a clown, right?
No, these are just sunsets.
sunsets.
This happens to people in the pet trade all the time. People will tell you, oh, they're het this or they're het that, when really possible het means that the animal's never been proven that they actually are het. It's just the odds could be like that. And so what they did is they had some animals that were possibly het for the sunset gene. They put them together and they hatched the eggs. And so the probability of the 2 genes lining up for a sunset was very, very, very low. However, now they have proven that those 2 parents are carrying the genes because they've got the visual babies that we just saw. So it's really, really interesting in genetics. And in the pet trade, people will tell you anything, you know, to sell a snake. So you gotta be careful. That's why we're only gonna buy our ball pythons from Genetic Genesis.
Wow, they're great.
They are great.
I'll buy 20.
Hey, guess what? You can get free cuddles right there.
Yeah, why don't you tell them about our new merch store, Michael?
Hey, we have an awesome merch store up and running, and it's getting better every day. Look at these incredible hoodies. You can get free cuddles from Peaches, who's not very cuddly, or you could become a rodent champion yourself by purchasing one of these hoodies. And, you know, it goes to help the nonprofit Raptor Rescue and all of our animals that need food. Because everybody needs to eat.
Because the official
Everybody
logo,
needs to eat.
and
Yep.
then Taylor's is in the 3D kind of mode. It's the RGB. I really like that. The little TV static.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know if Michael likes it as much.
Well, I made it, so you have to like it.
I love it. Okay, so here we go.
A normal she is 100% het clown versus this is a clown. On a normal, you got more of a broken back, whereas on your clowns, it's pretty much usually a solid stripe down. There's a little more uniformity to your alien heads, which there isn't on a normal.
But I promise you, I could go to a pet show and this would be sold to me as a clown.
Yeah, no.
Like people would say, oh, this is a clown. And me not knowing any better, I go, oh yeah, those look like alien heads on there.
Well, so a normal's going to have alien heads.
Hey, get Mac out. Where's Mac? It's a perfect example. Mac is a ball python that we picked up at a pet show. It was sold to us as a pastel yellow belly. So we decided to bring it here to the experts and look at it. Now, we don't care what Mac is. We just like him because of the way he looks. So these guys think that he is
Pastel yellow belly.
pastel yellow belly.
So you got that blushing on the head, top of the head there, that's your pastel,
You can compare.
whereas you don't on a normal. See, that's lighter than this one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually your pastel. And then yellow belly usually makes,
Pretty checkered.
it's pretty checkered on the sides. So this kind of solid checkering that goes all the way down on either side is pretty, that's your yellow belly doing that. Plus then yellow belly also brings out more of the yellows. More of the flaming up on the sides.
Okay. And so his pattern, though, you would just call him a aberrant wild
Yeah.
pattern. Yeah.
Yep. So this one, I was pulling her out. This is also a clown, but she's what we call a spot nose. And if you look at the head pattern difference, and your spot noses have really weird head stamps. Now the other thing with that spot nose will do is, like I said, you've got the alien heads on a regular clown, but they're kind of blown out. As you go down the side of a spot nose, that you normally get a pretty even dot throughout all the alien heads.
Anthony had a question.
How do you differentiate the heterozygous and homozygous?
Okay. So, anytime you have a homozygote parent, so a clown, a visual clown, you pair it to a normal, all the babies are going to be 100% heterozygote. So that means they're all going to carry one copy of that gene. If you have a homozygous to a homozygote, so a visual clown to a visual clown, then all of them are going to be clown.
This is a spot nose het clown versus the spot nose clown. So again, you kind of get that head pattern, you get a little bit more uniformity going down the sides with your alien heads, but you don't get that solid brown that the clown breaks as it goes down.
Where does the price come in? You know, like when do these bad boys jump up? Because you guys were talking about potentially having a snake that's...
Well, back in the good old days,
Oh, great. Here he goes.
back in 2014, 2015, you could pick up anything for $100. Anything. I mean, you could pick up banana balls, you could pick up pieds, you could pick up all these genes. Now, they weren't as refined as the genetics are now, but nobody thought ball pythons were going to go anywhere because everybody was breeding them, and you know, there just wasn't enough genetic diversity. But the market proved that wrong. And all of a sudden you've got all these incredible snakes, like this one that's coming, that are fetching big dollars.
So this one wasn't produced by us, so this one's produced by Ozzy. He's kind of the king of what we call Orange Dream. So this one is a Orange Dream Hurricane, which is a brand new gene clown. And so Orange Dream Hurricane Clown kind of brightens it up, gives this kind of wonky pattern, right? Kind of like the hurricane swirls essentially on the alien heads. Really brightens it up. Hurricane's a brand new gene, so putting it into a recessive like a clown adds a lot of value to it. So that's the difference between a $500 clown and this versus a $5,000 clown.
So this is a $5,000 snake?
Yes.
Basically, we're
not buying $5,000 snakes.
some of these breeders previous to that always thought you had to breed a pastel to a pastel, a clown to a clown. Until like some of the newer breeders come along and started saying, well, what happens if I mix this gene with that gene? And some of your older breeders, no, you can't do it, can't do it. Well, they start doing it and they start popping out crazy stuff. And it's kind of led now to, you know, there's been some stuff that people have mixed and it's like, yeah, that doesn't look great. But then there's other stuff that genes that people have mixed and you're like, wow.
Yeah, this is very, very attractive. Like, I'm very attracted to that. I mean...
Is the belly pretty clean? It looks like...
Yeah,
that patterning really comes up the sides of it. Those whites get up.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows that Michael is a $200 ball python buyer, or free, surrender your ball python to us, we'll take care of it.
We do like
That's
that.
who I am.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I don't buy $5,000 snakes, but if I was, I'd buy that one because that one's beautiful. I also am very attracted to this.
So this is another. There's three different genes out there right now that are all kind of the same, and it's acid, confusion, and static. And basically what it does is you get a bunch of different dots kind of intermingled everywhere throughout the snake. And so that's what happens when you throw that into a clown.
Okay, just for clarification, what is this snake?
It's an acid clown.
An acid clown.
So this is...
It does look like somebody was doing some micro dots whenever
Yeah.
they put that together.
So I'll have him, we've got a pastel that is not clown, it's just acid.
So this is a pastel clown?
No, it's a het clown. It's
het.
a pastel acid het clown.
Oh.
Your clowns kind of don't have a solid head stamp on top. So normally when we look, and that's why I said those ones we just cut, once I see the head, I'll be able to make a better
Assessment.
judge of what
Yeah.
it is. Ma'am. Well, stay still.
So you can see the difference on those heads.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that acid just gives you just kind of a random splattering.
Kind of all
I
these
like the
little
way
tiny dots.
I like the way both these snakes look.
Yeah. Like, so that's the visual clown versus the het clown. The only difference is she's got the pastel then in her too.
And neither one of these we produced here. So
Yeah.
this one actually came from Ball Python Shed. So if any of the viewers are familiar with him.
Josh and Jack.
And then that one came from David Levinson.
Give us the price tags on these animals, just
So this
generically.
one's another $5,000. Acid's a new gene, so up and coming gene. Probably $2,500 on a female.
On a het.
That's het.
Beautiful.
Wild.
Those are gorgeous.
Wild.
Those are gorgeous. That's why I like coming here, because it's like we got all these beautiful genetics.
Tell you what, it was probably a bad idea to wear a hoodie. It's a little toasty.
What is y'all's ambient temperature in here? 80? Wow.
So this is another
This
pairing.
is a new pairing. So this is a male. This is a female. So females get much larger compared to males.
Same age?
No, she's a little bit older, so she is a little bit bigger. He'll get a little bit larger in size, but not by much. But this is OD yellow belly pied, and then to a het pied female. So pied's again another new recessive gene. It's not new, but it's been around for a while. But it's another recessive gene that we're working with here, and so we're going to tie in, hopefully get some pied babies that have orange stream and yellow belly in them too.
And so she's got eggs in her?
She's got follicles.
She's
again,
starting to
so.
develop.
Doing the follicle thing on me. Okay, I see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well,
They're so picky.
I feel like most people are visually attracted to pies just
I am.
because they have such that break, you know,
Right, the
that such contrasting colors. And the interesting thing about the pied gene is you might get this much pied on a snake, or it might come out almost white. You know, it's like
Depending on, so yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you do, so like fire, like we were looking at in that other clutch, if you do fire into pie, you get almost all white.
Wow.
Fire wipes out everything.
So
look at that one.
this is another.
This looks
gene
like a
called-
Halloween snake.
It's called Gene X, and so it really brightens it up quite a bit.
The other one you
and
said?
so
I
It's
figured.
super bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a beautiful snake.
What's the sciencey math things?
So a het to a visual, 50% of them should be pied.
I'm glad that came out. I'm glad everyone understood.
You got it out. You got it out. So is pied a recessive gene?
Yeah,
It's another
It is, okay.
recessive. So
And are any of these three snakes, do they have any dominant genes?
so that they're called codominant, and so codominant means 50% of them will
Transfer.
will transfer over, and so Orange Dream will transfer. So basically, you only have to have one copy for it to be visual, and they have what's called the homozygote form. They call it super, and so super OD is something that when you have two copies of it, but you only have to have one for it to show a visual animal.
okay.
In this one, super OD makes it extremely bright, though.
Whoa, what is this?
So this is another pie. This is a Orange Dream Fire. And so like I said, fire makes it a very high white, but then this one's got what they call a paradox spot. There's no explanation for them. They can happen in any of the ball pythons, but you'll get just weird dark spots here and there
And
sometimes.
it's not a transferable gene, so just because the mom's paradox, there's no genetic, so you can't transfer it to the other offspring. It's like an anomaly, 1 in a million. So.
I love anomalies. That's cool. That's very, very cool.
So
I am?
You are an
It's an
anomaly.
I like being an anomaly. Anomaly.
Did he break?
Anomaly.
And so you should
That's
never
not
pay
for
the
sale.
paradox.
Yeah, don't pay for the paradox.
So never pay for the paradox for your genes because they're not transferable. But for that one, an OD Fire, it's probably about 600 to 700 or so.
I need an ounce of the dreamsicle. I always feel like I'm at like a marijuana shop or something.
Because they have all those crazy names. So I think we're all going to save up our pennies and wait for these pairings and these eggs because I think everybody wants a pied.
Pies, they're
cool.
They're cool.
To ask the stupid question,
Stupid question.
pied, completely different than albino.
Yes.
Yes.
And what's that breakdown? Like you got
Two completely different genes. Your
Al-
pie breaks up and makes just splotches with a white canvas. Albino, you've still got pattern, you just have no coloration. You're just yellow and white.
Yeah, your different albinisms will take out different colors.
And so is it rare to run into albino or pied?
Depends. I mean,
What
they're
do you
both,
mean?
They're both a
In the
recessive
wild?
gene.
Listen, I'm just here to ask the weird questions, Michael. Okay? I don't have any.
When you say run into them,
Well, I mean, like, is it rarer to find an albino genetic, or is it?
well, not nowadays because we just went to the pet show and it's like every third snake is pied albino.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you.
but in the
captivity-
wild, I would say the pied would be more rare than the
yeah.
albino.
Yeah, I'd say you'd run into more albino than you would pie. It's just kind of like,
But they get eaten as little babies right away because the white. It's like, come eat
stand
me.
out.
My next snake that I want is a carpet python. I've always been like fascinated by the carpet pythons, and the genetics that Genetic Genesis is putting together are pretty phenomenal. I've never seen carpet pythons this bright.
And I hear you love carpet pythons.
So I like them. Scott does not. So because they are the snippy versions of snakes. So if you're looking to get into something more intermediate, it's a pretty good species to get into. They're pretty hardy, but they're pretty mean. So if you're not used to snakes, then
Oh, he's ready.
she's gonna get you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So one nice little tool is to have a pair of small leather gloves or something.
What are gloves?
Gloves are like material that protects your hands so that you don't bleed a lot.
I can't believe you know what that is.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never heard of them.
But they're not OJ's gloves.
Okay.
No.
wild coloration carpet pythons are not this color. Like, they are much more muted in browns and olives and some highlights of yellow. This snake, however, is poppin' yellow.
And so this
Very
is
attractive.
a neon line of jungles. And so carpet pythons, unlike ball pythons, there's a bunch of different kinds of carpet python species. And so they come from different places in Africa, or in Australia, sorry. Ball pythons are Africa. And so this one's the jungle variety. They're a mid-sized species. The coastals get a lot larger though.
So what I like about the carpet pythons is that they get big, but not like reticulated or Burmese big. They're just a good sized animal. They're hardy, but they're excellent climbers. Like, I don't know why they're called carpet pythons when they climb so well.
It's really an electric yellow.
It really is.
And say the reason
Wait
they're
till you
named-
see the baby one they got.
The reason they're named carpets is because they kind of come from like the Oriental carpets. That's how they because all those
Oh.
intricate designs and patterns.
Gotcha.
That's why they're called carpet pythons, is because of the intricate
Yeah.
patterning on them.
Wait, I thought you didn't like carpet pythons.
but this one I've learned to have a little
Deal
more
with them.
trust in.
So yeah, this is more the normal color. You know,
This
that
one's-
thing would just like blend into the Australian outback.
This one's big.
Yeah, and that's about
That's
like
the
like when I
That's
say
coastal.
when I say carpet pythons, this is like the size that I think would be great for engagement and what we do.
These are just running around in Australia.
They're just everywhere in Australia. All these different species. The one we were looking at just then was a jungle. This is a coastal. So, but this is what the wild caught looks like if you were just to find it out in the outback, which I think we need to go do. Like,
Be great.
I think we need to go catch some and get bit by carpet pythons. Is the male real bitey?
He has his moments.
Oh wait, you just reached right in there. Wow, look at that.
Oh, yikes. This is the most wiggly snake.
So that's why I say intermediate keeper, somebody that's really good at handling, because they
Yeah.
are very high motion.
They're not
snake.
staying still like the ball pythons.
Yeah.
This is it fine?
This is just escape mode. Like, he's in all escape mode, that snake is. He just wants to get away and crawl up somewhere where he can get away.
The more you handle them, the better they get. But,
Yeah. Notice the one thing Jordan's not doing.
Squeezing.
He's not squeezing. If you wanted to really get bit, just grab him by the back of the head about 6 inches down and squeeze him.
Noted.
Well, the other reason we say intermediate on these guys is ball python. If it's going to bite you, it's a like hit and back off. These guys hit and hold. They
Oh,
do not
yeah.
let go.
She's a little sweetheart.
So this one's called Gamma DJJ. So there's not very many of them. It's just kind of a line that's a little bit brighter. It also contains the jaguar gene. You do have to be a little bit careful and selective with your jaguar genes because they can have some wobble to them. This one's a pretty good example that doesn't have any wobble or neurosigns. Just be really mindful when you're picking them out that you're getting it from a good reputable breeder that's selecting good lines of jaguar.
Hey, why don't we get them from Genetic Genesis?
It's a great idea.
I'm just going to wait until y'all have one available and buy y'all's. If you haven't seen the prior video, go back and watch it because we were talking about a Pompeii. Now, that is a snake, a morph, that is really highly sought after and anticipated. And I'm gonna let these guys tell you about that because we will be doing an egg cutting in the near future, within a year. And we might get one, but they're gonna tell you how they're gonna make it.
So Pompeii consists of 4 codom genes. So you got a spot nose, black pastel, yellow belly, and then red stripe, which is the main feature of Pompeii because it's like the lava from Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius, that old story, and so it's where the name comes from. And so also mixed in with the recessive gene clown. And so what we've got is we've got a male that's got the red stripe and the yellow belly in it. And so you got a red stripe yellow belly paired to a black pastel spot nose het clown female. It's also got fire in it, so we got 1 extra gene that can be thrown into it to hopefully make fire Pompeiis.
So if she lays 8 eggs, what's the possibility that one of them could line up perfectly?
Math.
And so, well, 50% of them would be clown, so there's that. And then you take that codom and you split it in half another additional 4 times. So 50% becomes 25%, which becomes 12.5%, which becomes 6.25%, which becomes 3.075. So 3%.
So if we get a Pompeii out of that clutch, we're going to be jumping up and down, screaming, and having a good time. We should bring a bottle of champagne just in case.
Yeah! Q Queen, we are the champions.
There you go.
I'm also excited to see what these other snakes turned out to be. You know, we got to do the cutting, but we don't know exactly what we got yet.
We'll know here another probably week or so. Once they start crawling out of the egg, we'll know.
Oh yeah.
So maybe in about a month we can give some updated pictures, come
that'd be
back,
great.
and then we can see what they look
And
like.
that kind of fits our schedule.
After they shed.
We'd like to come out here like once a month and just be with you guys because y'all are just great.
We've got some more eggs in January that are ready to come out, and so we might do another egg cutting. Who knows?
I literally could do this all night long, but I know these guys worked all day. Our people worked all day. It's like 8:30 at night. I think everybody's ready to call it a day.
Gracie, tell them to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Tell them to like the video.
Like the video.
And-
And you better comment.
All right, yeah, that worked out really
Ooh,
nice.
I like that. Yeah, we got the subscribe, we got the like, we got the
Go
comment.
check these guys out on Facebook.